What up, ladies and gents? It is Tuesday, and we're back at it. Man, you thought your pipes were hard here in San Diego. Just wait till we talk to our guest today. New Jersey is freezing, so here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. Yeah, time to drop some heat.
Drop it.
Believe
Here
me,
we
you guys
go.
need it.
Oh, they need it out there in New Jersey. All right, all you business pros out there. Before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests. As we rise up in the podcast rankings, we will sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on to learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz/guest to schedule your time slot. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we are so excited, so honored to bring yet another incredible guest on the Business Bros Pod. Our guest today is here to make sure that you don't get left out in the cold. For almost 30 years, our guest has been taking care of his customers' major plumbing systems, ensuring that everyone he serves stays warm in the harsh East Coast winters and cool during those humid summers. No matter what has gone wrong with your plumbing, our guest and his team can help. His technicians have the knowledge, capacity, and experience to quickly identify the solution and restore the functionality of your plumbing system in a jiffy. Whether you need help with your plumbing, heating, or air conditioning, you won't need to look anywhere else to get back to enjoying your home. Joining us today out of Farmingdale, New Jersey, welcome to the show, Neil Slattery!
Welcome to the program.
This is fantastic, guys. Thanks for having me.
We like to have fun.
Dude, all right. First, let's just start off with the obvious. You're in New Jersey. What is it like compared to the 70-degree beautiful sun that we have here in San Diego?
Oh my god.
What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
It's cold. I will tell you that. It is freezing. Honestly, we've had snow plows coming through here. It's been like this for the past 3 days. So this is the time when your hot water and your heat starts to go out. So that's honestly when we're the busiest.
Dude, you're a plumber. First of all, I mean, as a San Diegan, as a Southern California boy who doesn't do, like, we're the type of people who go to the snow, right? Like, that's where we go to, the snow. It's not like a thing that falls out of the sky for us, right? We go to the actual place where it falls. You guys deal with this all the time. What's it like being a plumber in the winter, in the debt of cold?
Well, I want to back up. Wait, you purposely go to check out the snow?
Yeah, dude.
That's a thing?
That's a
I
thing.
don't know. For us, we purposely go to beaches where it's actually warm for the most part. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like our summers are hot, but our winters are cold. But it poses a huge struggle for us, you know, especially on a day like yesterday where we had, I want to say, probably close to 10 inches here just in Farmingdale alone. So for us to get our guys out on the road, it's a struggle, man. So especially on a day like today too, like it's just the residual snow that's still holding these guys back from going out. So, but I'll tell you what, the industry doesn't stop. Like I said, hot water, heat, they go out right at this time too, during the worst time.
Well, let's talk about the industry, right? So,
Sure.
I mean, dude, you look like you're at tops like 25 years old, right?
Thanks,
so,
man.
how'd you get into this industry? Like, how did you take your company? Where did it start? Where did it come from? How did you grow it?
So, really quick background for me is, and I know I told you about this, but I actually have my degree in nutrition. So I went from nutrition, had a job at a hospital, and it was funny because they were trying to build all these systems. Like I was trying to build the systems for them. They were kind of giving me, like they were fighting me on it just to make things easier. At the same time, my dad had business coach that was telling him like, hey, listen, get out of a truck, or you pay someone to build the systems for you. And like stars and moons aligned. And that's when he said, well, my son's trying to build the system over here. I need someone to do that. I'm going to bring him in. So he actually takes me out for burgers and beers. And he's literally just says, I need somebody who's doing what you're trying to do at the hospital right now. I'll pay you 1.5 times. Join me.
You were voluntold. When dad says, come on board, son, I need you to do exactly what you're doing over there. You're like, all right, dad, I got you.
Oh, absolutely. I don't regret it at all. And I'm very happy. I mean, I also have the most expensive piece of paper sitting right next to me, which I'm proud of. Don't get me wrong, but I'm way more proud of what we've done as a company overall, you know? So,
well, let's hover on that. So when you came aboard, tell me the size of the company. Like, what was going on? You said get dad out of the truck. So was he completely solopreneur? Did you have some guys? What was the business like when you started there?
So he was still in a truck, but we had, I think when I started, it was 2 plumbers. He just hired a new plumber just to help us move forward. And then we had 2 HVAC techs, and my brother was one of them. At the time, we finished that year probably around like $975,000 overall. And, you know, some of the first things that we implemented was trying to get a full like CRM system. So get away from the paper, move on with technology. So that was step number 1 for us. And then just building it to where we are today. Like, I mean, in 2019, we finished at 1.7 million. So we've almost doubled our business within a. Damn! So, I mean, it was a huge accomplishment for us. I mean, now to the point where my brother is now our full-time operations manager. My brother-in-law is our admin manager. My dad's still in a truck. And Dad, you're listening. I mean, hey, we're trying to get you out of that truck, but but no, he does what he does, and he's fantastic at it. You know, we have 4 plumbers and 2 HVAC technicians now, so slowly growing. And then on top of that, we were working out of my dad's house 2 years or 3 years. What's that?
At the same time, so like while you're growing the business, you're also working on dad's house. Like, tell me a little bit about your dad. When he brought you on, was he like on his way out, or he's like trying to make his way out of the industry, kind of hit the retirement mode, or was he like, now it's time to like take this whole thing to a new level?
He's kind of on that. I think he's on the retirement mode, but honestly, I like to joke around. I mean, he's going to retire when he's 6 feet under. Like, he's never going to stop. He's too good at what he does, and he loves what he does, you know? So
now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth.
That's exactly it. He loves it. So no, we're working out of the house. Like we had, like I said, the 4 technicians out on the road to where we're at today, which was a huge accomplishment for him, you know? So at some point we'll get him out of that truck.
All right, so you went from a couple plumber basically and a couple HVAC guys. You come on board. You start to implement a CRM. What is the value in that CRM? So like you know, before when you're doing things on paper, which is ridiculous these days, right? But you switch over to CRM. How did that change how you operated a business? Why is it so important to have a CRM?
Oh, where do I begin? Well, number one, like the system that we had was literally just pieces of paper for each job for the day. Well, now we literally book everything through here and everything goes straight to their tablets. So number one, they know right off the bat what every job is. Number two, when it comes to writing out all the invoices, any estimates that they have to do, instead of writing everything out and then trying to have to guess what the price is, well, number one, the price book's there. Number two, copy and paste is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. So you copy and paste what you got, and then within 5 minutes, now you have full estimates for everybody when it's necessary. So honestly, for how much money it is to put for a CRM, it is so worth it because it does everything, anything and everything for you, with even collecting payments through emails, stuff like that, sending out the emails for any estimates that they have. So it's huge.
What about a 10? A 10?
Oh, absolutely. James would give it a 10. He's a CRM guy for sure. So what about customers themselves? Like, a piece of paper can get lost or filed away where you never see it again. When you're implementing some of these systems at the CRM, I'm sure you've implemented certain follow-up strategies, certain retention strategies, repeat business strategies. Tell me a little bit about those and how they've impacted your bottom line.
Oh my God. We used to lose the invoices and estimates all the time. We'd be asking the technicians where they were. And all of a sudden they come out with like a whole stack of them that were sitting in the back by the wrenches. It's like, come on, dude, what are the invoices doing back there? But now everything's just right there. It's huge in terms of like, because now I've been kind of getting into more of like a sales approach. So like, I want to now build the sales, like I want to be a sales manager right now. And, I've also been using, because again, I love CRMs. So we use Service Titan for everything else. I use Pipedrive for all of our sales. And that actually translates from Service Titan to Pipedrive. So what's fantastic about that is that like, if there's anybody who I've given estimates to, who I know that I need to follow up with, I can just go into that, schedule an activity, which goes directly to my Google Calendar, which I use as my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
So I am all about technology. I love my CRMs. It keeps me very organized. So,
oh man,
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
no, we don't, dude. I've been using a high-level program, and it's very similar to Pipedrive. It's super cool because in an insurance company, we've been using Pipedrive for a while too. James created so many cool automations. So for those of you who don't know, it looks like just different tabs that you kind of set up, and you can drag that contact and drag them to the different sections in the sales cycle that they're on. And James has created some cool stuff in Pipedrive so that our team basically processes things as they move through the pipe. So as soon as they move from one section to another, we have automations that automatically pop up, and they're like, now it's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Who's doing it? Sign off on it's done. When it's done, it gets dragged to the next one. It's the next person's responsibility. And it's super cool to track because now you're not only paying attention to, the customer themselves, but the entire process. Where anything falls through the cracks in between, where you need to fix, where's the bottleneck that's happening in your business, so you can focus your attention on that and then turn around and make whatever improvement you need to make. So you've been using Pipedrive, you've been using a CRM system, and once you've had it implemented, I'm curious, have you sat down, and I'm sure you have, talked to your pops and be like, dude, look at where we are today. Like, what do you think he says, or what has he told you from the night and day that you've turned this company around from?
Yeah, I mean, of course, he's proud of what we do, and it's not just me, for everything that we've implemented together. Because once my brother-in-law's come in, like he's been huge, helping us on the admin side. My brother, who has been our ops manager, he's been taking over now the schedule, for things that like at least I've been doing, trying to move forward. But I'd like to say my dad's proud, not just of me, but of everybody, who's in the office here. So I think it's huge, Well,
let's talk a little bit about sales, because let's face it, any business, the bottom line is that sales and marketing leg. Like without that, without money coming in, without new customers coming in, doesn't matter how good a plumber you are, you could be Super Mario. Right? Exactly. That's exactly what you need.
100%.
100%, right? That's how the bills get paid. That's how the business continues to grow. So when you're developing your sales strategy or your marketing strategy, what kind of stuff are you doing to kind of, I guess, nurture that seed or get that system off and rolling?
I'll tell you what, the first thing was working with Steve, because he's built our sales like foundation, really. Because as soon as I started talking to him about it, he's like, oh, well, what's your sales pipeline? Well, what's your sales system? I'm like, oh, we sell HVAC systems and plumbing. I don't know. He's like, no. Like, what's your step-by-step process? So once he had me doing that, and then kind of like what you were just describing before, what's cool about Pipedrive is you set up what your sales pipeline is, literally step by step. And that's how you put it into Pipedrive. So that, I'm here. Okay, the lead's here. I just had a proposal. I need to follow up. Boom. Now I set my activity to say, hey, do they want me to call them? Do they want me to email them? So the first step was actually defining what is your sales process or what's your sales pipeline. So that was key for us.
So just so you guys know, ladies and gents, putting that on the screen, Steve Haru has a program called Victory Selling, and that's how Neil and I met initially, because I was doing testimonials for him, and I mean, he's got all kinds of people that he's helped exactly do what we're talking about here, right? Implement a sales training system so that it's not rocket science, right? Sales is so much of a taboo of what you should do. You have this like idea of a car salesman, but he really breaks it down to show you that it's not about that. It's about building the relationships. It's about nurturing those relationships and providing the help that other people need, and those sales will come around. So if you guys are interested in checking out the Victory Selling program, go to victoryselling.com. That's the best way to check it out. If you're ready and you're serious to take your business to another level through sales and marketing, you need to have a plan. So go to victoryselling.com. Yeah.
Today, Junior?
Exactly.
I love it.
You can't go wrong with an Adam Sandler clip, right?
Oh my God, classic.
All right. Well, what about some marketing stuff? What are you doing on the marketing side? Content creation, that sort of stuff.
That's something that we've always needed to work on. I know we do some, Facebook posts, we'll do some Instagram posts, and we've never been, I guess, the best at marketing. And we've really been relying on mostly word of mouth right now with our existing clients, and, trying to at least, call some of the people that we still have, just to kind of, I guess field the crops that we already have, and make it better. So unfortunately, that's another step that we're still kind of working towards. So, I mean, hey, if you have any advice, I'm all open here.
Oh man, you left me up for a cheap plug right there. I love it. Thanks, Neil. All right, so I'm gonna take advantage of this opportunity. Look, it really comes down to being visible, right? You got to show up and be out there as often as you possibly can, which is one of the reasons why we started doing this podcast in the first place.
Right.
But anytime I talk to somebody, they know they're supposed to post every day. They know they're supposed to create content. The problem is the common thing I get is I just don't know what to say. I don't know how to do that. I don't have the time to do the editing. So we have a done for you program. So ladies and gents, look, you got to stop being invisible. You got to be visible. It means you got to post. You post consistently, then you become credible. Once you become credible and people know, like, and trust you, you will become profitable. And it comes with the consistent posting. So if you don't know what to say, you don't know how to do the editing, we got you. Go to businessbros.biz/done for you. It's $300 a month for now. That's going to change eventually. But for now, we're doing $300 a month, and we'll do all your content for you for the entire month. So we sit down just like Neil and I are sitting down right now. We'll do a 30-minute interview, and I'll take all that content and I'll break it up so that you have something to post every single day for the month. And that's how you start to become visible, ladies and gents. businessbros.biz/done for you. So Neil, what stopped you, dude? What has halted you on the marketing side? I mean, what's your hiccup?
My biggest hiccup, honestly, is I tend to take on a lot of projects, a little too many projects at the same time. So obviously we started with building the business, doing all these other things, trying to become the sales manager, doing all these things. I was never good at marketing. That was just me. Because like you just said, I'd be the poster child of what you were just talking about, where I know it's supposed to get done, but I don't do it, So I've tried it before, and I've tried to keep up with it, but at this point, I would rather hire somebody else to do it for me.
Well, let me ask you this, because I feel like I was in the same boat for a very long time. Like, not that I am not good at it. I wasn't willing to do it. Right. Like, I think that was the key. Like, if I had to go in the mirror, right. And this is something I tell people all the time, like you got an opportunity and you don't know what's going on in your life, or you're trying to make excuses to other people, like stand in front of a mirror and look deep into your own eyes. Like, you can bullshit anybody else. You cannot BS yourself, dude. You just can't do it. You look deep into your own eyes. You don't even have to say a word. Financially, relationship, whatever's going on in your life, like that's going to come out at you, and you're just going to be like, okay, I get it. And I think that's the kind of moment that I had with myself when it came to marketing, because I've been in business for a long time, and I always looked at marketing and sales that same way. Like, I'm not good at it, right? And then I finally said, you know what? That's a false statement. I've never tried it. I've never applied myself to it. So I'm kind of wondering, like, Exactly right. You kind of said the same thing. I'm wondering, is it true? Like you haven't? Are you feeling the same way that I felt at that time?
Oh yeah, no. In fact, now that you're saying it out loud, and that's the one thing that like a lot of people don't realize is like it's all these like self-limiting beliefs for everybody, you know. So like I literally just said, okay, well I can't do it. No, I'm not good at it. I can get good at it. I can do it. I can try it, but I just haven't. So that
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
That's
exactly.
right.
That's why I can't tell myself I can't do it. So.
Except if you have kids. Wait, if you have kids, you can tell them, don't touch that. That's
right. But I don't have any of those yet, so no, I can't say it yet.
Well, okay, let's kind of hover on that. So right now, you got a lot of time, right? Like I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be 40 next year, right? I'm gonna be 39 this year. So I got 2 kids, I got a spouse, mortgage. I got that typical American life going on right now, and I find that.
I hope you're insured.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, exactly. I got a good insurance guy. He tends to own an agency, right? But the truth of the matter is, like, there's only so much time in a day, 24 hours in a day, right? Doesn't matter whether you have a family, doesn't matter whether you're single or you don't have kids, right? So, what's your schedule like? What's it entail? And like, what is it that you really truly want to do? Is this like what you have as far as a passion, or is this kind of a project right now to kind of catapult you to something else?
Oh no, this is my career, and I'm sticking with this. But on a day-to-day basis, like I'm coming in, I'm making sure that like my first thing I do is I always look at what our opportunities are. So basically, when a system is of a certain age, because if you think about it, everything in plumbing and HVAC has an age. Mm-hmm. So once it hits a certain age, about on average, I want to know how many of those jobs that we've been to are of that age, which is what our CRM can do. So we actually can tag certain jobs as, hey, it's a replacement opportunity, or, just HVAC, just boiler specifically. And I want to know how many are opportunities, number one. Number two, how many of them did we actually quote? Like how many were actually left proposals? And then number three, how many of those actually sold and for how much? Because I want to know if I have a certain amount of opportunities coming in, what's my revenue per opportunity that I'm going to be able to predict, I guess, either for the day or for the month. So that's the first thing I do. Number two is obviously checking for the future to make sure that everything is implemented properly on the schedule, to make sure that we're asking the right questions. Well, number one, how'd you hear of us? Number two, how old is your system? And, by pulling out those reports specifically, I can look at my numbers and say, all right, well, if I'm falling short on quoting these people, what's holding me back from quoting? So, and then I can dive deeper into it, because obviously if I'm not quoting, I'm not selling anything. Mm-hmm. So it's always about the numbers to start my day. Then throughout the day, I'll have, various meetings. Usually I meet with Steve, or we have other business coaches that we also work with for HVAC specifically. And then I try my best to at least get 20 minutes of, not 20 minutes, 20 pages read per day. It's because that's one of my goals for this year, is read a certain amount of books by the end of the year. Because if I'm not sitting here and I'm not learning, then how can we really move forward on other things, especially for sales too?
No, that's absolutely true. I mean, you're doing a couple of things that I already like. I mean, you're getting the coaching that you need, plus you're doing some reading. You're really elevating yourself as an individual. I don't think people quite understand how important it is for you as an individual to constantly be improving upon what it is that you know. Like, that's the only way that you get better. It's really a journey and a process for yourself, and you have to really enjoy that process. Because, man, I'm telling you, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it, when you're at the helm, like, the buck stops with you. Like, you're putting out fires like all day long. when you're working within your company, for example, right now, and we're talking a little bit about numbers, you live in a very or you work in a very cash heavy industry as far as transactional, right? We do something, we get paid, and then it's kind of a done deal. But you also have opportunities, speaking of opportunities, to have monthly recurring income from some of these, whether you're doing servicing jobs or continuously going forward. Are you focusing your attention primarily on turning jobs, or are you looking for some of these recurring revenue type services?
I am so glad you asked that question. I don't want it to be recurring, to be honest with you. And reason being is the reason that we set the opportunity is because once a system gets to a certain age, that's when you have to start repairing it. So I'll give you the example. So, I mean, you've driven a car that you've had to bring into an auto shop before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then did that last for 10 years more without having to repair it again?
No, of course not.
Of course not. Right. Now, granted, it's going to cost you thousands, maybe a couple thousands of dollars just to repair it. And then finally you break down and say, you know what, at this point, I'm sick of dealing with it. I just want a new car. Now, let's play that same scenario, but HVAC systems are a quarter of the price, but the same amount when it comes to repairs. So when you start to have to repair your system, why let it drag out even further? So realistically, I want to get out of the repair business and I want to move into the install business because number one, it's costing you money to continually repair it. So you could spend up to $2,000 on a repair to then have to spend $8,000 to $9,000, $10,000 on a brand new system. Well, why don't you just take that $2,000 and put it towards a new system? You know, why waste your money? That's number one. Like number two is I don't want you calling me for your no heat or no hot water calls.
Those are the worst.
Because they're the worst, and they call at the worst times too.
Yeah.
So, because of course, when our guys are on call, it's after hours. That's when they're going to break. When it's this weather, that's when things are going to break. So, I don't want you calling me during that time. I want to make sure that I can put it in a new system, have it last for the next 10 years, so that you have peace of mind, knowing that's not going to break down.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing about that too is, and the third thing is that it's actually costing us money to actually have to continually go back and repair a system. And what I mean by that is I've actually had clients call in and say, hey, you've been back to my house about 4 times just to fix my heat or my hot water and nothing's getting done. I'm spending all this money with you. And the only thing I do is, you're right. We have been back there numerous times. And you're right. You're spending a lot of money with us. Now, granted, if we had put a system or an estimate for a new system in early on, then I can say, well, Mrs. Smith, this is exactly why we recommended going through with the new system, because we knew that you were going to be spending all this money on repairs to then have to go for a new system anyway. So if we don't give an estimate, any proposal at all, then I had to sit here and just be like, no, you're right. That's a failure on our end that we did not give you the option to completely replace your system.
That's a great point right there, though. You've decided, right? I mean, literally, I asked you the question. You already knew the answer. You're like, no, I'm not going into the service side. I'm going into the installation side. That definitive decision right there really is something that entrepreneurs need to understand, that decide, and that's it. Cut off from everything else. That's the whole word decision, right? To cut off. And you've decided to go that route. And that changes a lot of the processes that you have. So I'm assuming here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming now when your techs go out and they're meeting with the client and they're at this opportunity where this machine, whether it's HVAC, AC, whatever else you're dealing with, it's reached its critical point. The presentation that they have is about installation of something new. The disclosure is about putting something new and really saying, yeah, we can service, but this is not your best option. That's completely different from offering a service plan. And you know, making that decision has really implemented your processes. It sounds like to me anyways.
110%. Absolutely. And every time we go to a system that's of that age, we should always be mentioning it. Always. And like I said, we've run into these issues where we keep going back to fix these systems. And if we don't quote it, that's our fault, that we didn't give you that option to get out of that cycle. Be free. Have that peace of mind for the next 10 years, knowing that your system's not going to break down. So that's exactly why I track these numbers specifically. That's my first report that I'm looking at during the day is how many opportunities do we have we had this month, and how many do we have coming up today, so that I know that I can prepare the technicians and that we can make that sale.
Neil, forward. How do people look at Steve's on here? He's like, my man, Neil's the best.
Yes.
I'm talking about Steve. All right. Real quick, we're running low on time. If people want to get a hold of you, they're in New Jersey right now, right? Because we're going to recreate some content for you. You're going to post it out there. If people are out there and they need your services, they like what you're putting out there, how do they get a hold of you?
They can just give us a call. Obviously we strictly work with Monmouth and Ocean County in New Jersey. So if anyone is listening, obviously give us a call. But our number is 732-223-8320. But give us a call anytime. We do have emergency service. We mainly work between 8:30, 4:30 from Monday to Friday, but we're here for you. But I'll tell you what, if you got no hot water, if you got no heat, be open to the replacement.
Dude, wise words from a master plumber, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so check this out. I want to make sure that you guys kind of catch a recap here, because this was a great episode. You may not be in plumbing, let's face it, right? You may not be a plumber, but when it comes to your business, what Neil was describing here is absolutely vital. You need to really have a sales and marketing strategy in place. And remember, if you need one of those, my boy is on here watching. Go to victoryselling.com. Check that out. I mean, I'm literally going through this exact sales training program. I wanted to see what this was all about as well. And it's phenomenal. I mean, Steve put it together. It's really easy to follow and it makes total sense. I mean, just little simple things that he's going to change in your approach is going to make all the difference in the world. So make sure you guys go to victoryselling.com, put your sales and marketing in effect. The marketing side, make sure you guys put out content on a regular basis. Go to businessbros.biz/done for you. We're going to help you get that content squared away and decide. Make a decision on where you want to go with your business, and then all your other systems that you put in place, make sure they're all pointing in that direction. That's what I got out of talking with you, Neil, today. And I'm not a plumber at all, but that is good business sense to have, and that's going to point you in the direction. So, Neil, thanks again for coming on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you had a good time, and thanks. I'm thankful to Steve for hooking us up and making us connect here, because it's always great to meet new people. And again, dude, a lot of wisdom coming from you. I can't wait to see where you guys go.
I think he's wonderful.
Exactly. All right, ladies and gents, we'll catch you tomorrow on the Business Bros Podcast, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every single day, Monday through Friday. Peace, and we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation, or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.